YouTube. This is Sasha and Alicia with Chatty.
We are two best friends living in two different states, and we chat all things 90 Day Fiancé, Bravo reality TV, married life, and single life.
Please remember to go ahead and like this video. It helps us out more than you guys know with the almighty YouTube algorithm. And make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And yeah, that's it. We're happy to be here for you guys. Today we are going to talk about Below Deck. So we are going to talk about episode 1 and 2, which includes this first charter that they're on. So we're going to talk about them both. It might blend together depending on how long this is. I might cut it up into part 1 and part 2. So we're just going to get into it and let's see where we go. So, alrighty. Below Deck. Episode 1 was called There's No Place Like Home. And so we have everybody arriving to the boat.
Yep.
And the only returning cast that we have is Eddie, who is going to be our bosun. So if you guys remember him from past seasons, he was a deckhand on one and then a bosun on another. But everybody else is a newbie. So we got a whole crop of newbies.
Yes, we do. Oh my gosh. Okay, so who is in the new crop of newbies? Who are you most concerned about?
Who am I most concerned about?
Making it, surviving.
Izzy. Izzy is currently the third stew. And she is super slow and has no real drive to like get things done. Like there's no time on this boat to just be like, I'm just gonna
I don't think
do
there's
laundry.
ever a time on any boat. Yeah.
But I feel like some of these people, I mean, I feel like deck crew, you have 4 people instead of 3. Interior has 3, deck crew has 4. I feel like the lowest guy on the deck crew totem pole can kind of get away with slacking. And because what Eddie says is deck crew is back of house and interior is front of house. So interior is more in front of the guests, with the exception of when the guests are riding on all the toys, and then deck crew, somebody is there to make sure and help them, for safety reasons. But otherwise, they're kind of behind the scenes, so they can kind of hide and slack off a bit more, especially that 4th guy who just doesn't know a lot, so he's not being called on completely to do things. He's being called to, like, go wash some windows or swab down a deck, and he can kind of be like, So Izzy said she actually prefers deck crew, and she signed up for either or. And I think that's what you said. She either signed up for either or she signed up for interior, like wanting a change of pace.
I think now it was just the job. I think it was the job she took. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's heavily regretting it. Like right off the bat, she's like, "Ugh, I wish I was outside on deck crew," and she just.
So it is funny that you say that too, because we've had other interiors that have done that. They've taken it either to get the experience or that was the job and they just wanted to be on a boat. And literally within the first episode, they're all like, ugh. Because wasn't Rocky? I think Rocky was more of an exterior girl too, wanted to be outside in the sun.
Yep.
Or maybe she just wanted to be outside.
She just wants to be outside and in the water.
There was another one, I can't remember her name, might have to look it up, but there was another one that wanted to be deck crew and did interior. So
I don't remember the names either, but yeah.
We tend to see that a lot with them, but I get it if it's your passion, if you love just being on boats and that's what's available.
Yeah.
It's either that or nothing. I'm more concerned about Francesca, the new chief stew. I'm concerned about her primarily because we all know Captain Lee can be very tough. He's very serious about his job. He's very good at what he does. I mean, I'd love to work for Captain Lee. I mean, I feel like I'd come out of there with the best work ethic ever. And he had 6 years with Kate. This is the first time, you guys, we're seeing a new chief stew. Yeah. And someone who doesn't exactly know Captain Lee and the way he operates. And I think that Kate had an advantage. And this happens. It's nothing like it was prior, but through the years of working with them, I mean, they became friends. Like, when they're in Florida together, I mean, she goes over and has dinner with him and his wife. And when his wife came on board, Kate and them gave a big hug, and she was like wanting to catch up with Kate. So Francesca's got some big shoes to fill, and then when you are coupled with two stewardesses that just, I mean, Elizabeth.
Well, the one's good. The one's good.
She's good. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it's because they're focusing on the others. I just don't see any hustle from anybody on this boat.
Elizabeth. So
Elizabeth.
We're not seeing her a ton because she's actually really good at the job, and so far there really isn't any drama created with her. So we're not seeing much of her, but she's definitely like good at what she does. She has a sense of urgency. She's able to do anything Francesca tells her to do without really direction because she has experience and she knows what she's doing and she's just doing it. So that I think is why we're not really seeing her yet. Who knows?
I think she's, according to the previews, I think she's going to be the little flirty, scandalous one. Because I hope so. I'm pretty sure Elizabeth is the one that gets in the hot tub with one of the guys, which we're pretty sure.
Oh.
In the previews, yeah. I mean, obviously not for this next week's episode, but in the season.
Like coming up this season?
Yeah. I think she's definitely going to be that one. But yeah, I definitely worry about Francesca. She's got the experience. It seems like she knows what she's doing, but she broke real quick. And we'll kind of get into that, obviously, when we talk about the starter.
Yep.
But yeah, this interior crew is going to be interesting to watch. The deck crew, though. Poor Eddie.
Poor Eddie. Oh, man. Poor Eddie.
So when they talk about being green, I mean, one of them was super honest with them and was like, look, I'm green. But he didn't realize that by green, this kid is like he's like a little seed. He hasn't even sprouted to be green.
No, I mean, he's like, I've been on a boat, man, but that's about it. You're talking about Shane, right?
Shane, yes.
Okay. So Shane is from Southern California. And he's like your total typical type of surfer guy. He loves surfing. He loves being outdoors. He went to Berkeley.
I think he lives in San Diego, too.
He lives in San Diego. He lives with his girlfriend. So he is not single on the boat. He has a girlfriend. And then he's also very, very like big and concerned about the environment. And so he's basically coming onto the show to kind of spread awareness about his, he's got a brand already called Sustainable Shane. He's got a YouTube page. He's got it on his Facebook. Like, he's already created this brand. He's got a logo created. So his motivation for being on this show is to push 100%. His environmental side thing and to make that brand grow. I mean, he's got a girlfriend at home. He's not looking to spend the next 5 years on boats and
100%. And you can kind of tell by his demeanor. I mean, he talks about loving, doing his yoga every morning. And now remember, we had a chef that did that. Adrian did that too. Well, so let's talk about the difference between those two, though. Adrian would do his. He'd wake up early. He would do it in his cabin, and he'd still be ready to work.
Yeah.
This dude
Shane
is on the bow in front of his little mat with his big old yoga mat rolled out and just sun salutations and
and that's fine, but everybody else is working and cleaning. Dude,
I get it. You need to have your time, and if that's what calms you, like I said, Adrian was a very spiritual chef as well from a few seasons ago, but he did it all in the privacy of his own. And I get it. If you want to be outside, you want to wake up with the sun.
Yeah.
Do it at sunrise. Yeah. Not while everybody else is busting their ass.
Yeah, no. He's forgetting he's at work.
He is.
You're not on a cruise. You're not on your own boat that you've chartered. You are at work.
And he's just not, and I just don't think, going back to what you said about him spreading awareness about his brand, I think that's definitely true because he don't give a rat's ass.
Not really. I mean, I do love the nickname already that Eddie gave him. And even Captain Lee got a good laugh at this. Did you catch that? He was inside talking to Captain Lee. I think this was probably episode 2. In the wheelhouse. And he was like, yeah, Captain Lee was asking him how he was feeling, and he's like, yeah, I mean, Sunshine I'm a little worried about, he
That's
doesn't
right.
really
I
want
thought
to.
he called him Sunshine.
And Captain Lee was like, who? He's like, Shane. And he's like, Captain Lee was just laughing. And I'm like, that's kind of the perfect name for him. I mean, it does just
do you know what
fit
I
him.
think he got that name, though? Do you know where I think he got that name from?
I will know it when you say it, because, like, it's in here, but I can't quite
remember. The Titans.
Yes.
Remember the Titans.
Yes. Okay.
And he does it, because I remember when Eddie said Sunshine, I immediately thought of Sunshine from Remember the Titans. No, it's true. And it's like, and let's go back to when he first arrives on the boat, right? He's lost. Yeah. And at first I was like, okay, he's just kind of looking around, because you've got to get,
acclimated.
Acclimated, thank you. You got to get acclimated to the boat. You don't know where anything's at. I always laugh whenever they start arriving, when the crew starts arriving on boats, because you don't know where to go, and there's nobody around usually. Like, even after a while, because somebody's down in the crew mess, but like, where is that? Somebody might be up in the wheelhouse with the captain, but where is that? So he's poking around now.
He's taking his tour.
I've never seen anybody end up in the room so quickly, like the guest area. Usually they find the crew mess and the crew area or the captain's area pretty easily. But then Francesca's having a meeting with her girls. Shane goes and gets changed, right? Because he gets.
Yep, this is episode 1 in the beginning.
And then he just sits down in this big old comfy chair with these girls like,
what's up, guys?
What's up? And she's trying to have a meeting, like, and he's just like wanting to chit chat, and they're all just kind of like,
yeah.
And then they get back to their conversation, and he's like, well, here's to a good season, and gets out. Right then,
I feel like he hasn't had many jobs before. I just get that sense.
I'd be interested to dig in for his family. I mean, no judgment, but I feel like he might have had a very privileged life.
I feel like he might have had things paid for and not really had to do much work. I mean, he just graduated not that long ago. So he's pretty young. I did see when I was digging around to try and like see where he lives and stuff, I was on his Facebook page, and that's how I found out that he has a girlfriend. He lives with her. But back in like July, August, they were looking for a third roommate, to help with the bills of the apartment. So, you can tell he doesn't, like, his whole lifestyle is definitely not paid for, but because they're looking for another roommate. But who knows? I'm sure his parents probably give him some money. It doesn't seem like he's, working 3 jobs to live the Southern California, San Diego lifestyle. So,
no.
And he lives, I looked up his apartments. I mean, they're nice apartments. Yeah. It's not like a crappy little.
We will dig up all the dirt on you. So any questions you've got, drop them below. We will dig up the dirt, because this is what we do. Or
if you know the dirt, share with us, please.
Please share the dirt. We're always here for the tea. So there's Shane. He's going to be the most colorful guy on the outside.
Yeah.
And then we have James. We have the pretty boy, right?
Oh, yeah.
We got to have the pretty boy.
With the accent.
With the heavy accent. Because I believe Francesca says to him, wow, you're really British or something.
Yeah,
like that.
She does. She makes that comment. She's like, yeah. And that's when I remember, like, you could tell the way she said it, too. Like, they were both kind of flirting with each other. There were definitely vibes going on between those two.
There were definitely vibes.
There were vibes. So I'm curious to see what happens with those two.
If something happens, we never know.
Well, we never know on this boat at all, but
I feel like James is definitely going to be the playboy. So I think that Elizabeth is going to be the girl that all the guys end up really liking, and the one that gets all the attention, and the one that hooks up. And then I think James is going to be the one for the boys. 100%.
And you think James is what? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Going to be the one for the boys. The one that's hooking up, getting all the attention, He's
definitely getting the attention from the first charter guests.
Yes, and we will definitely get into that, y'all.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
So he's getting, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're talking about
you're fine. You're fine. No,
for the new
it's true.
crew,
He does. He
cast
does
and
get the
crew.
attention from them. So yeah, so we'll see how James works out, or what James does.
And then we have Avery.
Oh, Avery.
And we don't really get to know Avery much. All we know really about him is that he's really sweet and he's kind and he knows what the hell he is doing. He is the strongest guy on the deck crew.
And he wants to be a captain.
Fortunately, yeah, he's like in this for life. Like this is his goal. And then unfortunately he has to leave pretty quickly because his grandmother is not doing so good. So he has to leave. Did he leave the first day of charter or even like, it was like within like 24 hours, 48 hours?
They had just, I think they were sailing to their first anchor and he got the call. Yeah. So as soon as they anchored, they had to bring in a water taxi to come get him. Because his mom had called and said that his grandma probably didn't have 24 hours. So yeah. It's interesting given the times of this shooting, right? Is it COVID?
Yeah.
It probably was.
Yeah, because he made that comment. We thought it was the flu, but then all of a sudden, like, things just got worse, and now she doesn't seem like she's going to make it. So I definitely want to do some digging, or I hope we find out if, like, did he make it home to see her? What was the cause? Maybe he comes back. Now they got to find a deckhand last minute. I feel like if we see anything about that, it'll be like on a Watch What Happens format somewhere. Hopefully we do. Hopefully, I mean, I hope he got the chance to at least say goodbye. But I liked him. I mean, he seemed really, really nice. I felt like he probably wasn't going to give us a lot of drama, but he was going to be a strong crew member, and he was going to help out. And have some morale. I definitely feel like he could have been almost better than Eddie. Because Eddie can get in his ways a lot, and Eddie can get very distracted. Eddie's got like just a dickish attitude right off the bat. I mean, I find some of his comments funny, but he's very sarcastic, and he just kind of says things. And yeah, he's good at his job, but he just kind of, he definitely doesn't treat anyone with kid gloves. So no, and he's definitely got the attitude of, I've been here longest. I know what I'm doing. I'm better than you. Respect the ranks. Don't ask questions. You know, he demands respect. And I think Avery would have been really good to help balance him out, because I think so too. I also see a lot, and reasonably so, but I see a lot of frustration in Eddie's future, and he's not good with that. He does not handle it well. He's not good with handling the young ones who don't know what they're doing. I think if he forgets. He forgets what it's like to be brand new. Yeah. He like doesn't fully want to explain it. He just, like, when they're having the girls need help with drinks, and so like they send Shane up, but he's like, go Shane, go help her with drinks. And then they're coming out to the guests, and they're, you know, presenting their cocktail that's pairing with the dinner, and Shane's, you know, standing there with them, and Eddie's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Like, no, you don't go present the drink. Like, you're back of house. You're not to be seen. Da 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 da. But he says it in that way, and it's like, dude, Shane has no freaking clue. He has no clue. You said help with drinks. He thought that meant from start to finish. Yeah, he has no clue. Help her take him out. Yeah, so Eddie could have done it much gentler and been like, hey, man, so like, you're new, so I get it, you don't understand, but really, we're back of house, like, we're not really meant to be seen, so just, you know, from here on out, like, back over here. But yeah, but Eddie's just got a real abrasive way of talking to people, so he's not the greatest boss by any means. So he's, I mean, I feel like if Eddie got pissed off and wanted to walk, then Avery would have been great to, like, step up to the plate and be bosun. But now they just have James and Sunshine. So. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for the next episode. And possibly Izzy, because now Izzy is fed up. She doesn't want to do interior, and she wants to go over to deck crew. And once Avery left, she actually asked Captain Lee, and then later asked Eddie if she could go join on deck crew. So we'll have to see if that actually happens and how strong she is. Because if she's not as strong as Avery, then that means he's just got 3 people who aren't really strong. And I'm sorry, but you, like, one person cannot dock that boat by themselves, running back and forth and, like, doing everything. You need at
No.
least two strong people. I mean,
It'll be interesting to see. And yeah, I mean, even
like, I can't imagine how frustrating I mean, it's Eddie's job, but I just personally would not want to be in that position. Not with a humongous piece of equipment that is so freaking expensive,
yeah.
and I'm supposed to be responsible for, like, training my guys how to wedge this thing in between these other boats where they have
exactly.
like,
And
6 inches of space.
I think that's why the one piece of the crew that we don't ever see is the engineers and the first officers,
Mm-hmm.
because they know what they need to dock this. I mean, we've
Yeah.
seen in other seasons where they've accidentally nicked the dock, and it's like $200,000 worth of damages.
Yeah.
Because these are 20, 30, 40, $50 million yachts.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane. I can't even bat, like, I would never.
I can't even wrap my head around.
I can't either. I would never ever want to be a bosun and, like, responsible for that. I would much rather be interior, although I know those people would drive me crazy. I feel like when I was younger, I could do the job. I'm good at multitasking. I've got a good sense of urgency. I just want things to, like, go, go, go and get done. But the people would drive me insane. And then if I had a chief stew who wasn't, like, task-oriented, list-oriented, like, giving clear instruction of what you expect and, like, just what you want done, that would drive me crazy too. Because you need a lot of organization to run everything. And if someone wasn't organized, or they've got it all in their head but they ain't sharing it with you, I'd lose my mind.
You would probably make a good chief stew, though, because you'd be so damn organized.
Oh, I'd have, like, lists everywhere. They would all be laminated. Like, they would come with me and they'd be laminated and, like, tacked up all over the place.
And that's the way you have to on those boats.
Yeah.
So especially when you do have people like Izzy that is just no sense of urgency. You want to be able to give her a list and say these. And we've seen it in the past, like Jess from last season was a great example of this too.
Yeah.
She was the kind of person that needed a list, because if you just tell her go in laundry, she'll sit there all fucking day.
She needed clear-cut instruction, but once she got it, she was good. Izzy, I don't think if she got clear-cut instruction, she would be any faster. She just doesn't care. She doesn't want to do it. She wants to be outside. I almost feel like with Izzy, I'd have to get the timer. It's like a dial timer that I use for my 4-year-old, and be like, here's your task, and you have 20 minutes to do it, and I'm going to set the timer, and I'm going to put it in front of you, and you need to get it done. Because, like, I feel like
she would need time frames. Like, you would have to give her...
to go.
She would need the list, and then, okay, here's your 10 things. These have to be done within the next 2 to 3 hours.
Exactly. You would have to give her a time, or be like 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Like, you would have to tell her how long you expect her to do things. And then even some of these people, I feel like I would have to laminate it and then give them a marker. That way they could check it off, and then we wet wipe it at the end of the day to start over the next time. Like, some people, realistically, because I hate the people who you give a list and they don't check it off. And so then they're like, well, I'm done with the list. And you're like, really? Because here's 2 things that, like, you didn't clearly do. So what happened? Oh, I missed those.
I think in that environment, it's something I would definitely want to, because you need to have that sense of urgency, and you need to make sure you're not forgetting something, especially when it comes to guests. Yeah. So
they need so much.
And
oh my God.
A lot of that with this first charter. So transitioning into this first charter.
Oh, wait, we forgot to talk about one thing before we transition into that.
Yeah.
One thing. The main guy. Captain Lee.
Captain Lee.
Yes, he's back. Real quick. He's back.
Captain Lee's back, yes.
But he almost didn't make it because he slipped in the shower and fell and hurt himself and had to go to the hospital. And so Eddie arrived to an empty boat because Captain Lee was still getting checked out at the hospital and didn't know if he'd make it or not, but he does. So he makes it.
He does, and he is definitely in a lot of pain. He has a couple cracked ribs or bruised ribs, something like that. But
he can still do his job. He just tells everyone not to hug him.
Yeah, and he's definitely
I don't think he wants to look
foreshadowing
anyways.
for COVID, I guess. But yeah, poor guy is definitely in a lot of pain, and he's already really, really stressed.
Yeah.
And he is just like, oh my gosh. Like when Izzy comes and asks, can I be on outside? He's like, great, I've already got someone that doesn't want to do their job.
And then he's got
Watching
someone
this
who already left, and yeah, the poor, like,
watching how this whole thing runs, I mean, I've never seen a single charter become such a shit show so fast. Between the guests,
well,
between all the crew incidences, and
Yeah.
Captain Lee's just
Yeah.
like, you know,
this
he had a
one
very
started
good
out just rocky
Rocky.
right off the bat. Like day one, walking onto the boat, it was like issue after issue. And then we have the chef.
Oh, that's right. We have
Yeah.
Rachel.
Yeah, we have Rachel.
She is going to follow suit with most chefs, and she's
Yeah.
going to be stressed,
she's going to be high
throwing
maintenance.
things. I
But
think
her
she
food
came
apparently
on-
is like the best ever. She's got everyone has
Yes.
good things to say on the food, and on the Watch What Happens, the other crew is like, yeah, her food's amazing. Like when they're
Yep.
when they're talking about her. So her food is not going to be an issue. It doesn't sound like, but her attitude may pose some problems.
But that's just what we get with chefs, right?
That's what we get
I
with
mean,
chefs.
they all have attitudes.
Except
And if
for
they
what's
don't,
his
they don't
name?
last.
Yeah, Kiko. Kiko is such a sweet guy.
Must have attitude to be chef.
Yes, must be crazy and have attitude. But that is a crazy, stressful job. So, hey.
She reminds
right.
me, she's already, and even in the previews, real quick, she does remind me a lot of, I'm blanking on his name.
Ben?
Malia's boyfriend.
Oh, Tom.
Because
Yeah, a little
she
bit.
immediately is bitching about the layout. And then she's immediately bitching about, you know, quality and,
Yeah.
you know, and Captain Sandy, I think, said in the reunion of the last one with Tom, like, you're chartering a boat. Yes, these guests expect the best,
Yeah.
but every single charter boat out there is dealing with the same provisions. Like, sometimes you can't get fresh scallops. Sometimes you have to have them frozen. Shit happens.
You gotta make it work. And if you want something, what I've also picked up on with these chefs, they all bring their own knives, right? That's like a common thing for chefs to have your own knives.
That's a nice
But on
thing,
these boats, they are not fully equipped with every pan and thing you like. So if you really know, like Rachel has already had a problem with making omelets. Like lots of people on these things want omelets. So if you already know, like you've got a favorite pan to do something you know you're going to be doing a lot of, why don't you bring the damn pan? Like she's having meltdowns because there's not an omelet pan. She's trying to do it in these pans that aren't working. It's like making her lose her mind, bringing her to tears. They bring their knives, but I don't know. I feel like if I'd been on enough boats, I'd know they don't have what I want. It's just a hodgepodge. So I'm going to bring what I like using to make my job easier because I don't cook much, but I know at home certain pans I use for certain things, and I really like that, and it's easy, and if I try to make it in a different pan, it just doesn't cook up right, and it really frustrates me.
Yep, exactly.
So,
and she's got 14 years of experience doing this. So I'm like, honey, get it together.
Like, bring your own crap. It'll
be interesting to see how they meld.
Yeah.
Blah, blah.
She seems in the previews that we're going to see a ton of drama from her. I don't get that vibe in the first episode. I get more of the vibe in the second episode that she's definitely going to have some major issues and meltdowns. But in the first episode, she comes off as pretty confident and pretty competent and more like, hey, you know, these things happen all the time, but I get paid a lot of money. This is what I'm here for. This is my profession. You know, I just got to do it.
She is, I think she's still competent and capable. It's just, I think she also got thrown, and I really feel like you can relate to this. Because she was saying that normally when she arrives on a boat, she arrives early enough that she can basically gut the kitchen and put it how she wants.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. I mean, we've seen like when Ben had to come on mid-charter and didn't know where anything was.
Yeah.
After the Nacho Queen left.
God,
Lord.
she's terrible. Ugh.
But she had an incident where everything was stolen before she was supposed to leave, and so her wallet and all of that.
Oh yeah, so she was all frazzled. I forgot about that. So
and then she hops
same
on.
thing. She
She
started
wants
off
to reorganize,
like,
and the second she gets there, provisions show up, and so
yeah.
it's like you don't have time to organize. I can relate to that. I actually spent a good amount of time yesterday reorganizing and re-cleaning my kitchen, and then every time I go grocery shopping, I literally practically pull everything out, wipe everything down,
to
and then put it in
reorganize.
how I want it.
Yep.
So I can relate to that, and I'm not the most organized person, but I feel like she definitely is. So I know you would relate to that because you clutter and you do not get along at all.
No, I would definitely want to move everything around to make it the most useful for however I'm gonna cook and prep and do all my stuff. Oh yeah, and they have a little bit of time, but it's like 24 hours, and within that time they still need to sleep. They need to get the provisions. They need to put everything away. Like, there's still a lot to do.
I also think, too, that stuff just happens over time. Like, if you've got a little bit of downtime where you're cleaning, start with one cupboard.
Yeah, they got but the chef has no downtime.
True.
Because remember, she's also cooking for the crew. The crew we see and the crew we don't see. Captain Lee, everybody, herself, and all the guests. And she still at some point has to sleep and eat herself, and we never see her eating while she's cooking, so she's not like multitasking there. Maybe she's doing it when she's making crew food that we don't see, but she has to sleep, eat, shower, get ready. Like, but she's got to feed all these people round the clock.
True.
Like, which is
true.
I would never ever want that job ever. But I also hate cooking, so there's that. If you love it, I could see how it'd be cool to like travel and be able to do that, and they probably get paid
that much.
Pretty well. I mean, I guess you could do it for a little bit of time to reap the benefits, but I wouldn't want to do a lifelong of that.
Nope, I don't like cooking that much.
No. So that's the crew.
That is the crew.
So now the charter.